We now invite you to join us for part 10 of the conference titled The First Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress, held in the city of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on December 6, 2010, with John Davis, vegan, former International Vegetarian Union manager, who will explain the expansion of international vegan festivals and the success of vegetarian congresses, which are now regularly held throughout the world.
All of these African congresses, they all go out on the march with the banners. They march down to the Ministry of Health. Rather than persuading the minister to come here as she did today, they go down there. They also have a homeless feeding program. We did this in Nairobi last week. I went out with a group from Hare Krishna's, huge vats of food, go out to the slums and we fed 100 people on last Thursday. And they do this as a part of the Congress. No one else does this. There are poor, hungry people all over the world, but it's only the Africans who think we're doing it. There are lots of other places we should be. They brought in a lot of new ideas and new thinking about ways of organising these congresses. I learned an enormous amount from the time I've just spent in Africa the last few days. So we're hoping that this will continue to develop. Indonesia and China, and again, we've never done anything in either of these countries until last year, the 4th Asian Vegetarian Congress in Indonesia. Totally unexpected. We had 1,000 people at this Congress. Absolutely huge. It was organised by the Indonesian Vegetarian Society, which started out as a Maitreya Buddhist organisation. When they changed their name to the Vegetarian Society, wanted to organise a World Congress. We said, great, but we're not having a Buddhist Congress. It's got to be everyone. And they really worked hard on involving other communities, other religious groups. The picture at the bottom left, this was by chance, I was sitting opposite these two young women at lunchtime. As you can see, the one on the left is obviously Muslim. The one on the right is a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. These two were the best of friends. They were everywhere together all week. And I just had to get a picture, given that this is a congress organised by Buddhists. And to me, this is just great. This is how it should be, everyone in together. The man on top right in the suit is Professor Duo Li from Hangzhou in China. He's actually organising the next Asian Vegetarian Congress in China. And that will be the first one we've ever had there. This was China last year. There was a food fair, as you can see in the picture at the top left, a vegetarian food fair, roughly 4 times the size of this food fair that we've got outside the organic fair here today. It's absolutely enormous. Combined with a Buddhist craft fair, as you can see in the other pictures. But the food fair was just completely vegetarian, mostly being run by businesses from Taiwan who wanted to break into the Chinese market. There's just some more pictures from it. The top left, you've got the Great Wall of China and the Beijing Olympic flame. It's a plate of vegetables. I like doing their decorative vegetables. On the left, there was a lecture like this one. All the talks were in Chinese and they were just going around the whole time the Congress was on. Top right is me with our Chinese webmaster. I've worked with him for 12 years but never met him. And he had to keep a low profile because the Chinese government don't always approve of some of these things. But we finally met. One afternoon we had an international vegetarian forum. It was the first time anything like this has happened in China. 5 speakers, myself, we had Singapore, Indonesia, China, Taiwan, most of the audience with headphones. So it was a major step forward for us. And then, of course, last year, that was here, I think, somewhere near here, MEVEG Congress. A bit like this, but a lot smaller. So now this is moving up a stage. And to me, it's just amazing to be here at all, having a vegetarian congress in the Middle East. 2 years ago, I could never have imagined this. So, you know, there may may not be thousands of people here, but for everyone who is, thank you for coming, because this is, for me, quite historic that we're here at all, just to have this happening. That's just a sort of collection of IVU in the 21st century, or really since 2004, because what we've done is try to put more energy into the developing world, instead of just Western Europe and America. Those pictures are Indonesia, China, Brazil, India, Dubai, Ghana, all over the world, getting things happening. 2010, the World Congress was held in Jakarta. When we arranged this, I didn't know what to expect. What they did just amazed me. Some pictures from it. We had the biggest food fair I've ever seen at the World Congress, completely vegetarian food fair. 5,000 people passed through, several hundred of them attending lectures. We had the most children I've ever seen at a Congress. Children's activities of all sorts. Metro TV set up a complete TV studio, that's a cookery demo. We did a chat show from there as well. As you can see, bottom left, a local Muslim school sent all their pupils for a whole day. A Catholic school sent their pupils for a whole day. The local university sent all their nutrition students for a whole day. So it was a huge achievement to get all this happening. My favourite picture is the one on the top right. What's Arash? Oh, stand up, Arash. This is Arash Rashidi from Iran, and he'll be speaking later. Arash gave a talk in Jakarta about himself and about Islam and about vegetarianism. And the amazing thing, you can just see the backs of their heads. The 5 guys in the front row are all from Afghanistan. And to me, being a Westerner and not knowing much about these things, to be in a meeting with a guy from Iran talking to 5 other guys from Afghanistan about vegetarianism was extraordinary. And these 5, they're all students in Jakarta. They go back in a few months and they say they're going to start the Afghan Vegetarian Society when they get back. That would be really something. To me, this was the best Congress we've ever had. Future organisers have got quite a job to live up to. I don't know if you can see in the bottom left picture, the guy speaking to the school children is Susianto Sen. He's our regional coordinator, and he was the mastermind behind this whole thing. The shirt he's wearing in that photo, you can't really see it very well, to batik. It's actually the same as this. This is the uniform of the organising committee for the Congress. And as soon as I saw it, I got one of those. I got one, and I wear it whenever I'm giving talks now. So after Jakarta, a few things, some that have just gone, some that are coming up. While I was in China, I met a guy who runs a restaurant in Beijing. He turns out to be a regular at this event in Los Angeles. So we're all meeting up all around the world. This one is India and Southwest Asia. This was in Bangalore. Again, this is Shankar again. He's everywhere. A completely vegan congress in India. Unheard of, unthinkable a few years ago, but it happened. In China, this is the one I went to last year. They did it again this year, a different program, and I suggested that they get Professor Deo Li from Hangzhou as their keynote speaker. And they liked the idea of that, because they didn't know him, and he's an important professor, and would I introduce them and arrange it? So I put him in touch with them, and he went along as the main speaker. For me, it was very strange. I'd never heard of until a year ago, to be the go-between of setting this up. This is what IVU should be doing, it's what we're all about. This one, the East African Congress, this is the first ever East African Congress, which was supposed to be last week. That's why I was in Nairobi. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, the organiser went along to the hall where they were holding it and found it was already booked by someone else. This is the level of the organisation. So he looked through the book, oh, the 18th's free, okay, we'll have it on the 18th. We had it on the website for about a year. It was last week. People from America had booked flights. So it's now on the 18th, but on the 17th there's a feeding day for homeless people, and we're doing that as well, and we're still hoping to get people together. But I went along last week anyway, and I met Emmanuel Ayer, our African coordinator I've worked with on email for several years, finally met him, which was great. So it was all very worthwhile, but needs a bit of organising. Well, I think you know where that one is. We're here. Latin American Congress in Bolivia next year. I won't be going to this one because it's all in Spanish, and I don't speak much Spanish. I'll wait until they do another global one with translators. But this one I will go to, the International Vegan Festival in Malaga. This is global, it will be in a mixture of English and Spanish. And again, IVU is very much involved with this, with a couple of our key people putting this one together. The 5th Asian Congress, the first ever vegetarian congress in China, coming up next October. And the big one, the 40th IVU World Vegetarian Congress in San Francisco, also next October. So I'll see all of you there, of course. Come to San Francisco in 2012. And after all that, just a last little bit, having explained everything we're doing, the question, why? Why do we do this? 4 basic reasons. One is religion, which I'm sure you all know about. Some religions encourage vegetarianism, others don't. 2 is about the animals. 3, health. And 4, the environment. I'm sure you know most of those, and you'll hear from other speakers talking about all those issues. The significant thing for me, spending a lot of time recently in Asia and Africa, is what happens if you take that one away. Because a lot of people I've met, a guy in Africa last week said, I'm vegetarian because of my religion. And he's of Indian ancestry. He's actually a Nandari Sikh. And I thought, well, that's great, but how do you persuade Africans to become vegetarian if your only reason is your religion? They're not going to join that. And the argument is quite simply that those other 3 are still there. If you take, this is what Gandhi discovered back in 1890, but it's completely separate. Last one. IVU Congress, this will be the 41st Congress in 2014. It will be in Africa. We hope to have it in Nairobi, but they've got an awful lot of work to do for the next 4 years to get it organised. But we're working with them. I met a lot of good people there last week. I think we can do it. Have the first ever World Vegetarian Congress in Africa, and that will be a huge achievement. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Nice to see the history, where it all began. And let us also see our own history, how we have either launched ourselves onto this journey or we are contemplating about it. Just as a reflective thing tonight, when you will be ready for your bed, just think for a short moment how the lifestyle has been, as George was saying, and keeping in mind the history which John has shared with us. And we need to keep a track of our history also, because the future is dependent on the history itself. All right, guys, some school children will also be joining us, and because this Congress is not just about our own decisions, but our kids' decisions, the next generation. So we thought that we'll have just one more talk by Muhammad, and I'd like to invite him on the stage to share his views. And Muhammad, if you could please kindly come here. So let's give a big hand. And Muhammad Karam Al-Awadi is the co-founder of the People's Republic of PETA. Muhammad and Payman Karam Al-Awadi are Emirati nationals and founders of Wild PETA. They've received tremendous attention for their unconventional use of social media site to market their bread. And they've given a fresh perspective to shawarma. I mean, the favorite thing whenever you think of Arab food, the first thing that comes to mind is shawarma. So they have added a new touch.
Animals must be off the menu. because tonight they are screaming in terror in the slaughterhouse, in crates and cages. Vile ignoble gulags of despair. Philip Woolen, vegan.
Valiant viewers, thank you for your presence today for the first Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress on Words of Wisdom.